One more time.
Welcome to the USS Kalandian. Engage!
Hi, welcome back to Fandom Live. I'm Gigi.
I'm Rocky.
And this is our Idiot's Guide to Star Trek.
Yep, it's your 101 to, the whole universe of Star Trek. If you have no idea what it's about and you keep confusing whether it's about, big starships or lightsabers or whatever.
Engineer! What am I wearing?
Okay, this has been one interesting opening.
Yeah, and although I think we're having some minor transporter issues, maybe, all systems aren't restored after Earth Hour the other day, so... but anyway, we're trying to recover, and we'll just focus on talking about what, makes Star Trek tick, okay?
Right, and as you can see, we're on our mock bridge of... And welcome back, Toby.
Sorry about that. The engineering bay was having some trouble. Something about Earth are affecting the transporter system.
Okay, and that's down as the reason.
You guys didn't notice? Oh! We have a wrong fandom guest present here today.
Oh. Hi, Leia.
Well, I'm glad to be back in my universe, and at least I'm just guesting now. Right, Artu?
Did Artu get a facelift?
He kind of, we kind of ran out of
budget.
And he wants to, go green, There's Artu.
So this episode's an idiot's guide to Star Trek, and I'm officially the idiot because I am not aware of Star Trek beyond.
At least you're in uniform, I'm not, so...
You guys didn't notice what I was wearing earlier, right? No one did.
Okay, now back to track.
I hope I don't remember. So anyway, when you talk about Star Trek, you're talking about a number of TV series already, over the years. We've had a total of, well, some would say 5, some would say 6 if we include the animated series, but there have been 6 different iterations of Star Trek on television. And 2 of those generations, so to speak, have triggered movie franchise on their own. The original series had at least 6 movies, and the next generation
has already had the balance of 4.
Balance of 4. Because there's been a total of 10. And now we have a new one coming out in May, which is actually in line with the original series as a prequel to that. Because, prequels are all the rage. So it's sort of situating yourself in how diverse the Star Trek universe is. And beyond the TV shows and the movies, there are lots of books, card games, everything. It's just such a rich culture in itself when you think about it.
Right. The difficulty about Star Trek is that right now there's no ongoing series. The beauty of it is that there are so many fans out there that they've managed to convince channels like Hallmark to carry Voyager for one, TNG, which is in the local scene now. It's being carried on the Sci-Fi Channel, which just joined.
Yay, Sci-Fi Channel!
Yes, definitely, Sci-Fi Channel.
And I sort of recall, I think it was you, Nina, showed it to me. There's this website where the fans were making their own episode or movie, I think.
Yeah. It's very, the
webisodes.
Yeah, the webisodes are very good.
And I think that's another good, trademark of the Star Trek universe. Every geek item there has, their own particular fandom, but, the Star Trek, or the Trekkies, or the Trekkers, depending on which generation you like, have always been very, very, mainstream and very, very out there in showing their love for the series, whether way back to the original show or up until now. And, the Star Trek conventions continue to happen even though there isn't an ongoing TV show. And the fact that Via Astra is all the way here in the Philippines representing that Star Trek love and appreciation really shows that Star Trek is really built into the culture.
Right, and you might be surprised how many Trekkies are around. In my office alone, I'm surprised by how many people come up to me and actually say they do watch the series. Now the question is, which one did you get exposed to when you were growing up, or maybe when you were a lot older? In my case, I grew up watching the original series. It was actually reruns showing on what was then Channel 9.
The original is the one with Shatner.
Yes.
William Shatner.
Yes. He was playing the role of Kirk. Captain James
Kirk.
T. Kirk, who you will also find in the movie that's coming out this May. But James T. Kirk here is already grown up, well-versed in being captain. He's the brash captain. He's the cowboy. Then you move on to the next generation.
The one with
Not Xavier.
Right. Yeah. Stewart.
I can see you going there, but no. This is
the chair.
He's my favorite captain. That's
He's my captain too.
Absolutely, Captain Jean-Luc Picard of the USS Enterprise. Still,
Well, they're all of the U.S. Enterprise practically, except for Voyager. And when you think about it, I think that's another key point of the whole Star Trek mythos, where everybody has to associate with their particular favorite captain or commander, depending on what the show was. Because each show, of course, has that central leadership figure, and depending on what you look for, I mean, you may be a Kirk kind of swashbuckling fellow, the diplomatic Picard, the I'm not quite a woman Janeway. I mean, whatever you want, really. There's a different flavor of Star Trek for everyone based on across the different generations.
so and let's not forget, because we mentioned 3 captains. Do not forget Captain Benjamin Sisko. He's a different kind of captain because, for one, he was not on a ship.
Yeah, he started as a commander, actually.
Right. He was on Deep Space Nine.
And so, that's different ways that the Trek universe has tried to explore different angles of it, and now apparently with the latest movie, we're trying to go back to our roots and re-explore, the origins of the original series. And it's a great opportunity for people to sort of reconnect with the series if they already were fans, or if they have no idea about Star Trek. It's a good place to start because you're bringing in fresh blood, new actors, even though they're reprising old roles.
Well, again, speaking as the idiot in the show, Nina. In Star Wars, when you talk about Star Wars, immediately you have the Force, you have Jedi, you have droids. When you say Star Trek, what should you think about? What are the key things that make Star Trek Star Trek? What differentiates it from Dune, for example, or Terminator?
We're not working on that. But yeah, I guess, well, like we saw earlier in the show, one is transporters. Teleportation technology has always been a big thing in Star Trek, where
The whirly lights earlier.
depending on which version of the transporter you're talking about, could be the whirly, could be the straight staticky ones.
So there's straight and whirly.
I don't want to comment. And so transporters, you think about phasers being on stun or being on full power, set to kill. Phasers are the weapons of choice in the Star Trek universe as compared to lightsabers and blasters in Star Wars.
Photon torpedoes.
Photon torpedoes when you talk about the ships. And if Star Wars is all about big fleets and small ship-to-ship action, Star Trek has always followed larger vessels, and you could probably associate it more with like your classic naval battleships or perhaps even submarines, depending on which Trek you're watching. Like, for example, the second movie.
How about aliens? Does the show have interesting aliens? I mean, nothing will beat the Ewoks.
We gave Rick Baker a lot of work over the years.
Nina would agree with you when
I
you
mean,
say that.
there's lots of aliens. In fact, it's the funny thing is that the aliens in Star Trek are they reflect a lot of the human conditions, a lot of the human problems. But some people might get turned off because what's blue-skinned aliens got to do with, let's say, what we're facing on here on Earth. But actually, the problems that they discuss are pretty much what we discuss, except that maybe it's Gene Roddenberry's commentary on the social issue. So that's how Star Trek tried to use the aliens.
So are the aliens all serious? I mean, there are no cute ones like the Ewoks, no furry stuff?
There's a furry one, they call them tribbles,
Yeah.
which drive Klingons crazy. Apparently they're allergic to them.
Hey, we're picking up something on subspace.
Is that a TIE fighter?
What?
I think we're under attack!